All right, well, finally I'm back and we can actually go over some of the cool stuff. So, here what I have is the actual 3D print that when I first got it, um, it was one big solid model. It is no longer that. I mean, originally when I first got it, I'm sorry, it wasn't one solid model. It was this section right here, which you see a blue outline, was the solid model here. It actually had the teeth were separated out. In this one, they still look like they're there, but uh, Brad that gave me this model actually had the teeth separated out. He had the tongue separate and the bottom teeth as well. So I'm actually gonna bring up those bottom teeth. So there's definitely a lot of detail in his model. I was really happy when he started building this because it came out so good. Um, a lot of goo in there. A lot of stuff like that is gonna be really hard to print. So you got to be real cautious when you print them. And even though this is measured out at 3 feet tall, uh, it's still going to be complicated. Now, I've already printed out quite a bit of this guy, so I can get right into it with you. And I wanted to do that before I really started making any of these videos because, going through the process and videoing everything could be helpful in some ways, but there's also going to be quite a bit of redundancy and there's going to be a lot of mistakes. And quite frankly, I don't want to capture all of those mistakes. I will talk to you about some of them. One of the major things that I had when I was first printing this model was the smaller shapes. And I found that, if you just print them at a slower speed, they'll come out. And I mean, when I say a slower speed for these teeth themselves, I mean, the speed was as low as my printer can go. Because I mean, I tried it at a faster speed. The shaking back and forth on a printer really just kind of jumbled everything up, and the teeth were falling apart, and supports wouldn't keep them there. So, the slower you print, the more exact it's going to be. The longer you're giving the PLA filament to dry, which will become a benefit for you for certain. You're just going to get better results. I have not gotten to this part of his face yet with all this little gummy stuff here, the little saliva coming out, which is awesome. But I think I'm gonna try and approach that with a glue gun instead of 3D printing it. We'll see when we get there. So let me actually show you some of the pieces that are, how many times I actually had to break this up. So let me start out with just this base. The base itself, and I'll hide Venom here. The base itself, and I'll actually hide the tendrils in here. So the base itself, I kind of broke into sections that met the print volume here. So I mean, you could see just how many sections. If I highlight everything, you'll see all the different sections here that I actually had to cut it into. Now, hindsight, what I didn't do here is I didn't actually create like kind of nubs that go in between there. So like having a hole in here and then a connector that from coming out of here that will fit into that hole to seat it. So I kind of had to put the adhesive in here and just kind of wiggle it together and line it up as best as I could. Now, if I had holes in here and like tubes or whatever that kind of snap them together, that would have been a way better approach. But I didn't do that, so I had to live with it. In future projects, I'll show you. Actually, the Venom itself, I did that too, so I can show you on that end. So, I mean, right now you're looking at 10 objects. I mean, that's how much this took, and I mean that is probably about almost 2 feet by 2 feet, close enough, something like that. I won't get into measuring it. So I'm actually gonna hide that, and we're gonna take a look at Venom here and all the different pieces that come along with them. So on this guy, I actually had I had a little problem here where I had to just kind of slice out one little tiny portion of his head here instead of having the whole complete section that I wanted to. My printer didn't have enough space, and you're going to run into that from time to time. When I first started printing this, I did not have a. Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me go ahead and center this up so I can rotate it. When I first started this, you'll notice on the bottom, I put a nub in there, a little hole in there, and you can see it right there. But I did not put one on the other side for here. So notice that there's nothing sticking out to actually fit into that hole, which was fine. I was able to glue it, but it really wasn't ideal. Um, so let's see how many pieces this guy was. And I think we're looking at 23 pieces. So I'll show you the actual pieces here just really quick because I don't want this video to go over too far. Um, you'll notice here that I have all these little nubs and holes, and each and every one of them has to have its own, print. So I got a section for the arm in there. You can see the hole in there. On this one specifically, I actually made specific connectors. You can see them, all the different connectors that I had to use to put them all together. But I actually printed these out separately, all the green ones, and you'll see them on the other side as well. So when I highlight it, you can just kind of get an idea of all the different parts that kind of make this guy whole. And then once I start getting on these prints, that's when I start to put the adhesive in and seal all these together. And it's pretty exciting to actually watch it kind of print and come together. A little tedious at first because you don't really feel like you're getting anywhere, but over time you will. So that is Venom, and he's got some real nice detail in the veins, and he's even got the little spider symbol, which you're not going to see in a movie. But let me go ahead and hide him now. So one of the things that has been extremely difficult is these little tendrils coming out. And I'll actually unhide the whole model here. Because they are stuck to the base, I had to print them all out in different sections. So let me hide this base again. And then hide Venom. And this is going to be like a support for the model itself. Now, each and every one of these has been extremely tedious to get out. I mean, it's 23 pieces just to get this to be able to be printed. So each and every one of these pieces that's separate, and I hope I'm not moving too fast, but you'll notice that each one of these has a female end and a male end. So as I go through, I'm basically putting them all together, and you'll notice right there's your little female section. And a lot of my models, I mean, it just needs to happen. Just makes life so much easier down the road. In this case, it's kind of a big puzzle, and I think I showed it to you in one of the other videos, but it becomes definitely a big puzzle. This is two pieces that I've welded together with a 3D pen, and it takes a long time, but the reward is certainly there. So that is it for the model itself, and it is definitely a beautiful model. I mean, Brad outdid himself on this one. And there it is. Okay, so that's it for this video. I will start to show you some of my 3D prints in the next one. You'll see I've gotten pretty far already, and I've actually glued some of it together, so I'm sorry if you wanted to see that whole production process. I actually kind of jumped the gun and just started putting it together before I thought about the whole video thing. I do have a lot of photos of in process, so I'm going to show you quite a bit of those in the next video and kind of just show you the step-by-step and all the different pieces, and then how they're all kind of connected together. So it'll be pretty cool, and I hope you're looking forward to the next video, and I'll see you then.